Alright, how are you doing, guys? So that timbo roma sequences and series, right? Because I think the topic that is a bit tricky and so sometimes it's very difficult to really practice it. But that timbo, since your maths exam is coming up, saka timbo shanda ni topic right? So I might make my errors, right? Especially paying panya the calculations, but the idea is that you guys understand the concept. Okay, so I need to pause a video so that I can we can continue learning. So question is going to find this. So like this is usually most of the questions they have this kind of thing, right? And we should know the basic relationship, right? The basic relationship I don't with you. Let me show you from the truckers. These basic relationships, you should know them because you're going to be using them a lot, right? Okay, so instead of me showing you from truckers, I think I can just show you right now from there. So for example, can wakapiwa this, right? It is equal to what? It is equal to what a phone is it's a bit difficult. So unungo separate it, but I'm sure you know these things. So 3 uyo anoya panapa yovaita chi r, right? Like so r is equals to 1. So I'm sorry. So these things, they mean kuti upper limit, lower limit, right? So that means our lower limit here is 1. So tukutangira pa 1 per summation. So this sigma sign means it's a summation, right? So panapa tukutangira from 1, then the upper limit is what? Is 20. Do you get the point, right? Minus and then you very r is equals to 122, right? So do I now? Right, I'll put together there, right? So remember, panima equations atofana kuziva, atofana get chiziva before we use this. There are these things that we should know. Kuti susu kana takapiwa, so r is equals to 1 n r is equals to 1 over 2 n plus 1. These things you should know. Then the other one, let me confirm the other one so that, and then can wakapiwa this can wakapiwa iri n r is equals to 1 can I r squared inenge 1 over 6 n plus 1 2n plus 1, right? So you should know these things. So you should know kuti parku irku apply and then can I re r squared now, r is equals to 1 and r cubed, sorry, 1 over 4 n squared n plus 1, right? Usually I'm not sure if these things they usually come in the data booklet, but I think they do, right? So in this case wakuya, so panapa isusu tapiwa r. Okay, so I was saying that so in this case mukuzona panapa tina r kapanapa, so that means we use this one, right? Saka isusu takuya takutongoweka, saka takutonga taura tichi inenge yakunzi my camera is becoming a bit blurry. Wait, let me just put. Okay, now it's blurry. So isusu tukushanza e and okay, understand. So saka iwo wakuya, it's simple stuff. Unofana kungoziva kuti kushandisa chii cheta. Saka iwo wakuya wakusubstituta zvinhu zvawapiwa panapa wakuzvisa omo. I hope you get the point. Saka wakuya leso panapa takuya takuti chi, so let's just say 3, then this part you replace it with this part. So we are going to 1 over 2, then n wedu ndiani, n wedu in this case the 20. This one we are going to 20, then 20 plus 1, right? So then you put these ones, right? Then this one manje kana I manje unungo wakutongo say unungo ngomaply this and this. I hope you get the point. Just multiply this and this. One get to minus 2 times what? Times 20. And so okay. So through this you get what? if you just work, you get 630. If I made a mistake, it doesn't matter, right? This one you get 40, right? You get 630. So the answer is what? 590. So you're going to make it. So what one answer there, right? I hope you understand, guys. Okay, so let's try this question together. And this one. So question here kutaura kuti this ku left hand side kwedu is what is identical. Wangona 3 my lines is identical, right? So isusu takutongoshandisa our normal formula tikuziva kuti sangatimbotange kushandisa ngati ku left hand side. So let's try to first work with the left hand side first, right? Saka isusu takuya panapa, we just use the general formula. Saka isusu tikuziva panapa kuti it's going to be what? AR, right? It's going in since A usually A is usually a constant, so we are AR n R is equals to 1. This minus what? So 3 is the constant there on we're going to 3 on verashi panapa ningari C R is equals to 1, then panapa n is identical to what? Or ngatibo C is right? I hope we're together there. And so isusu manje takuya panapa takuya so we're now using that formula that we said it panapa, like this one for this one, right? So remember, this C actually is still a constant. We use a similar formula like this one when we have an R, for example, panapa. So panapa, this one is another one, is another constant, right? So we only use this formula panapa, right? So so it will be A, so let's have bracketed, let me make the brackets a bit bigger, n plus 1, this one, then yes, okay, then panapa 3. Since that is C where is just another constant, we multiply 3 C times n times 3 minus 3C n. This one. So isusu takungoya panapa takutongo simplifier of which AU yakamaplan ezvinhu zviri bracket inongo yangoita okay, let me put this cosine there. Whether A over 2 n plus 1 and minus 3C Cn. I hope together and I hope to chase baba. Then so what then do we do? So isusu manje in this case, so we have this, right? We have this, but we can try to simplify this, or we can expand rather. So it's not A2n, so A is 2n times n plus 1 plus n veda squared veda A2n and plus, and I mean simple stuff, 3cn, right? So I think Becky, we did this question yesterday. Taitara kuti wakangona question in identical, right? Like when we have this sign identical, so that means we will be comparing my coefficients. Do you get the point? So one thing that you need to do then is that unongoya panapa over A2n squared, A over 2n squared, and since on voice you unobatanidza ma terms akafanana, right? For example, panapa n is common there, right? So I'm forgetting the terms, guys. Forgive me. My terms are sure like I'm forgetting, but panapa it will be 3c, right? So let's now remove this sign. I would A over 2n squared plus n A over 2 minus 3c is identical to n squared plus 2n, right? So one thing that you need to note there is that for the n squared, right, isusu takuya to compare my coefficients. So takuya takutongoti for A over 2 2n squared takukomera kunoku ndizo. Then for n we're now comparing this one, so this is just the same as saying a over 2 is equal to what? Is equal to both n squared coefficient and the 1 is equal to 1. I hope you get the point there, because that's where the idea is. Then for n, the coefficient is this one. Then on this side it is 2, right? Oh, all right. Let me not skip the stages, right? So let's say what a over 2 n squared is equals to n squared. It's equals to n squared, right? So kwangu cancela. So yakunzi a over 2 is equals to 1. So that's what I'm just doing even for the n part. And so that I'm going to a over 2 minus 3c is equal to what? Is equals to 2. I hope you get the point there. And okay, so isusu tukuzoti, so a wedu tomona say a, so a is equals to 2. Satana value ya a. So we now want to find the value of what? We now want to find the value of c, right? Since a tena takuzoti indian in the 2 takuya takuti 2 over 2 minus 3c is equals to what? Is equals to 2. And so it's minus 3c is equals to 2 minus 3c is equal to is equals to 1. C is equals to minus 1 over 3. So yeah, find. I hope so far. Let's continue. So this is another question. Let's do question 3. Right, given that this, so you come to realize like these are the, so in some as you can see in other questions, anongo where wakatopiwa kuti this is equals to that is equals to that, right? So we're going to find in terms of, so a saying find in terms of n this, right? Then hence evaluate rs is equals to 5. So this is the lower limit. Then upper limit into 20. Then that, right? So I'm sure now by now you have realized that the concept is the same. So that's why like maths is very easy in the sense that concept nongaramba chingodzoka aimbova yakachinja, it remains the same, right? So there's nothing new under the sun when it comes to maths. And saka iwo wakuya panapa tambotaura kuti susu wakaona inonzi chini yo une chisummation chakadai. So the first thing wakutanga wakutoseparate, wakutoya wovhota saying what r is equals to 1 n r squared, right, minus remember 2 you constant anoenda kuside kwesigma, right? So enda kuside kwechisammation is equals to, and I think panapa n r ndizo. So of which you also remember these values taromapiwa tanzi panapa, and this, for example, this one, and it's just this one, then this one, just this one, right? Saka takutongo substitute this part with this part. Saka wakutoya 1 over 6 wako n plus 1 2n plus 1, right? Then panapa is now 2. Remember, don't forget the 2. So you should always never forget that. So it's now half minus half n plus 1 and zero. So rather let's put this square brackets there. So you so still that will simplify 1x 1 over 6. So I had to pause for the sake of the video. So some other parts you don't need to know what data say, because I think when we can flow, right? And just papi, but I hope you understood there. So this is for this the part where everything is. You just know who is separating who, simple as that, right? So I'm sure this one you can follow. So what I just did panapa is that I just put this as the common denominator to simplify. So that's why I did that. Because it is very neat. That's why I had to pause. But so this is where we reach. So runs in terms of n, right? So b is actually the interesting one. That's the one that I wanted us to do And so b is now asking kuti hence evaluate dautozona zvakatosiyana ipapapa ndo panotanga pakurema, but unofanira kungohwisisa kuti toita sei. So panapa manje uri kuzoona kuti isusu remember now our upper limit now is still 20, right? But our lower limit is now what? R is equals to 5. So our lower limit is now 5. Asi isusu lower limit yedu tataipiwa tiri 1. Saka pese pangatiweka apa tanga tichishandisa lower limit yedu R1, asi panapa manje lower limit yedu R5. So that's where the trick comes. So that's what I want to show you. I want to show you something there. I wrote down this important rule. You should know this. Ongona question yako chat. So you ongona question yama summation, right? Ongona question yama summation where the lower limit is not equal to 1 panapa. Like for example, as you can see panapa, our lower limit is not equal to 1. You'd always try to make sure it becomes equal to 1, right? So what do you do then? You should always remember this rule. R is equal to n plus 1, right? You need to subtract something. And so for example panapa n, for example panapa, you just need to know panapa, right? I'm not really sure why they said that. Probably teacher to explain better. I'm assuming with these things you know some of these things, and I'm also assuming with so I'm not really sure where to like pekunya effort, but I'm hoping that you will understand. And so now can I susu R is equals to n plus 1, then m wedu upper limit, then so teaching upper limit minus what? Lower limit minus n. So that means you for example panapa n at skumziva, and sakayo wakunguyongoti m plus 1 is equals to what? Is equals to 5. N is equals to what? Is equals to 4, right? So that means you can wakuya manju calculator wakuya in this case now wakuya vote so R is equals to 1 panapa inengeri 20 and R squared minus 2R, right? Minus papa ndo pani yes papa and umvoya. So this, so in our case panapa, in our case panapa m wedu ndiye 20 ona, so n wedu ndo watoda kuwana n wataona ndiani 4, saka wakuyamvoya say umvoya panapa, but R is equals to 1. So in this case 4 ndo wakisa panapa ona. You don't put 5, it's 4, right? It's 4. Then we'll put R squared minus 2R. I hope you get the point, guys. This is what you need to do. This is what you need to know. Every time ponongo ona question na R is equals to 5, what you just then do is that wakutongo disochate the long way. You no longer do the short way. For example, I tied up panapa we did the short way because remember it was R is equals to 1, but now this one is a bit different because we're saying with R is equals to 5, that's the lower limit. So you need to then work with that. And the good thing is that it becomes actually simple. Why does it become simple? Because it becomes simple. So I want to show you why. Okay, so it becomes simple because it's also, remember question yedu yati like this, like part A, or this is part A. Remember part A yati find in terms of n this, and in terms of interval. So that means ongo kanganisa n chetu ongo kanganisa A, you're doomed, right? But isusu was assuming utagona A, and so that means that this part is this part. So that means this part, we don't need to do a lot of workings because patino yokutanga tatoiona. So you should quickly realize kuti because ona zvanzi hence ongona zvangonzi hence chete. Hence simply means what we are using zvinhu zvatashandisa pamusoro, zvinhu zvataona pamusoro to find the answer. So you get the point. So that means kuti panapa, since taona this, we are now going to use it panapa. I hope you understand that. We are going to use the panap. I forgot to put in papi. Okay, so what does it mean? So nanganchiti susu, we have found this and we have found this, right? So but we're saying with susu, remember we have worked this. saka iwo wakungouya wakutongosubstituta that iyi panapa wakutongoisa panapa, the same thing wakuisa panapa, then pese pana n wakutongoisa this 20 chete on. So for panapa takuya chongesa ma 20 20 20, so that means by this equation, right? So it's 20 plus 20 plus 1 21, 20 times 2 40 minus 5 35. So that's what we get here. Then we multiply it, we get this, right? So the same thing with panapa. But remember, I should start to subtract us from this important rule. Remember that. Then so wakuya subtract us. So 5 as 8, but remember this is a 5. You get your answer and you're done. So it's simple. It is very simple. I hope you understand. So now let's go through this one again. So as I said again, this concept, the rest is history. Because I actually believe that pure mathematics, the A level, is far much easier than O level maths. Because the good thing about pure mathematics is that if you quickly get the concept, you get marks for, like, usually my questions are marks one day. You're gonna 5 marks for simple things, but because we're going to such concepts, right, of which it's a bit different from O level maths. O level maths sometimes can we toka wanda 3 marks and but these ones they come with a lot of big numbers but very simple. And so just quickly get to the concept and be willing to think and use around the things that you have learned. So it's all about, I think pure mathematics was put to understand to make sure you understand the idea of application. But still it is the same concept that so just show that this is equal to what is equal to this, right? Then evaluate. So it's the same thing. It is the same thing, but we are going to work it. This is the last one that I'm going to work, and I hope it will help. Then we move to my progressions. I think those are the last ones. So panapa simple. Panapa is what r cubed in r is equals to 1 minus what minus r. I'm not sure if this is relevant for me to be working, because I know you know these things now. So remember that this is a value, this is a value. Doma values anangachinyora panapa. If you still remember, right? If you still remember. Saka isusu takuya takuma substitutor. We are now substituting these values. Saka takuya panapa takuti 1